What is going on, YouTubeverse? John Stanek from Johnny Radio here, bringing you another album of the month, this time for February 2022, and I'm so excited to be talking to you about one of my favorite bands of all time at this point, Spoon, and their 10th studio album, Lucifer on the Sofa, which just dropped this past Friday. I've only listened to it maybe 5 times now, but it keeps growing on me on each listen, and like every Spoon album since the early 2000s, it is another great one. Britt Daniel and the gang just knocking another one out of the park. Just from the opening track, which I have to stop and say, Spoon is one of the best bands as far as opening tracks to records. I mean, you had Hot Thoughts from Hot Thoughts, Rent I Pay from They Want My Soul, The Beast and Dragon Adored, of course, from Gimme Fiction. And Held, this opening track, is yet another one that so far I think it's my favorite song on the album. It just has such a cool vibe to it. The way that it just starts slowly and this cool guitar kind of bluesy riff carries the whole song, but then they keep bringing in these other sound effects and it kind of comes to a really cool crescendo at one point. You got Britt Daniel doing his like woos and stuff. That's so cool. And as someone who's seen Spoon live in concert, I can just picture them opening a set with this because it really just sets an awesome mood for what's to come next in a show or on this album. And then of course it goes straight into the lead single, The Hardest Cut, which on first listen I wasn't super impressed with it, but I did notice that they had a very guitar heavy vibe, especially when it goes into that, I don't know if it's drop D or that dun 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 dun. So I was like, oh yeah, Spoon is rocking on this new album. And for sure, at a concise 10 songs, less than 40 minutes, this album does rock, maybe even more so than their last couple of albums. There are some ballads here as well, like My Babe, which is another highlight on this thing. It's a classic kind of Spoonish ballad where they do it their own way, both lyrically and musically. And I love how towards the end of the song, there's this, again, like kind of heavy, full guitar sound. And the syncopation actually reminds me a bit of 99 Problems by Jay-Z, if that makes any sense. I don't know if, I know Britt Daniel has tons of really cool musical influences like Prince, so I wouldn't be surprised if maybe subconsciously that influenced him. Maybe I'm the only one hearing that, but at any rate, there's really not a weak track on here. You also have the single Wild, which that one didn't strike me the first time I heard it. It almost felt like Spoon was going like commercial rock on this thing, especially on the chorus. But the more times you listen to it, the more just that catchiness pulls you in. And of course, Britt's vocals, that rasp that he has sounds so cool. And it's a great anthem on this album. There's some other great rockers like On the Radio and Feels Alright on side B. Then you got another slow one called Astral Jacket, which is very beautiful, very just delicate, and then getting into the end, you got Satellite, which is a very cool song, and I think one of the first ones that they had written for the album. And then Lucifer on the Sofa, the closing track, and the one that the album is named after. Very cool, a very hypnotic song that opens with these saxophones and just this kind of 70s laid back vibe. But, it just keeps going with this conversation that Britt seems to be having with the devil sitting on his couch, saying, all your cigarettes and your old cassettes, like you can tell he's trying to be lured in by this serpent. But by the end of the album, you're like, I think Spoon has won out against the devil here and made a very strong album on their terms, and it's just magnificent. I think that's probably my other favorite song on the album right now because it really gets stuck in your head and you want to go back and listen to it over and over again, just like Held. So strong opening track, strong closing track with nothing but greatness in the middle. If I had to give this a grade right now, I'd give it a very strong 8 out of 10. Highly recommend. And if you are not familiar with Spoon, I highly recommend you go back and listen to everything they've done in the last 20 years. They're just one of the best bands out there. And yeah, so those are my two favorite songs, the beginning and the end, 8 out of 10. And guys, let me know in the comments below what you think of the album. What are your favorite tracks on it? And what do you think of Spoon? Because I think they're not in the mainstream enough, if you can believe that. I mean, these guys have been at it forever and they deserve to be known. So if you like this, don't just like and subscribe, send it to somebody else so they can hear about this great band and this awesome album, one of the best of the year so far. So thank you for watching. We got album reviews, we got top 5s every Friday, top 100s, and so much more. Thank you for watching, and as always, Viva La Vinyl. So guys, thanks so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and be sure to ring the bell for notifications so you can always see great quality content like you're seeing on the screen right now. Thank you so much for supporting Johnny Radio, and I'll see you soon.